So when I heard that there was a movie about a killer whale that was horror, I could not freaking wait. I saw the trailer, gave me mad Shallow vibes, and I thought that it was going to be great. Unfortunately, I was completely freaking wrong. So here's my review for the movie Killer Whale. And in old goods fashion, I gotta give it the goods and the bads. And let's start with the goods. Okay, so with the goods of the movie is the whole concept of having a killer whale that is basically psychologically tormented by the effects of captivity that is tormenting these girls and goes completely crazy. That concept was cool. I thought it was great. I thought that it was going to build some really good intense moments, and it would probably elaborate a little bit more of the importance of the psychological toll that being in captivity could probably bring to such a beautiful freaking animal. Favorite animal in the whole world for me, by the way. But that concept was good, and it stops there. Now let's go to the bads. All right, I have a laundry list of bads with this movie. Okay, first of all, let's go with the failure of suspense. Now, when you're looking at an isolated horror film or an isolated suspense thriller, it really builds you up to where you are actually in the environment yourself, and it's scary, and it is nerve-wracking. It's just insane. You take something like The Shallows, completely isolated incident. No, there's nobody around. Blake Lively is completely alone. And then you have something like the movie The Fall, where they are way the hell up there on the top, and nobody can hear them. They have no idea what's going to happen. And plot twist crazy at the end for that movie, but it was really, really good. Really built on the intent. Unfortunately, that does not translate in this movie. They do not capitalize on the entire isolation and the environment that they could have done. They just don't do it. So the suspense was just not there. It felt really flat. Another thing I didn't like about this movie was the visual effects. CGI nowadays is absolutely, groundbreaking. It's fantastic. Unfortunately, that does not come up on this. You don't see that with this movie. The killer whale is completely cartoony. It does nothing for it. As a matter of fact, this is what kind of pissed me off about it. Killer whales they're majestic, they're powerful, they're graceful, and the CGI just completely takes away from that whole mystique of what the orca is. So I just did not get off to it. I know that there were also scenes in that movie where you could tell they weren't really there and it was like hardcore green screen. Yeah, it was really, really horrible. So CGI does not get a vote for me. The identity of this movie is probably the biggest thing. When you're dealing with a movie that has a concept of the psychological toll that captivity brings to a killer whale, it is not really shown in this movie. Instead, it goes off to a subplot that builds more on the human emotion of loss, of trauma, which is fine, except that's not what set the movie up. What set the movie up was a killer whale attack, where you can actually bring marine biologists in. You can bring different scientists in that can, kind of like fight against the machine on why having killer whales in captivity could be a danger, and having some big shot amusement park owner or whatever, fighting against it so they can keep having the killer whales perform. Instead of advertising it that way, where you're really elaborating on the whole, on the psychological for the killer whale itself, it completely just takes away from it. You have a really good chance to give some social commentary when it comes to the dangerous effects of human control on an animal like that. They just completely just go away from it and focus more on the human element of it. That has nothing to do with the initial attack of the killer whale. So I thought that whole identity was completely done. You have a chance to kind of replicate Deep Blue Sea, where you had all of these scientists coming in to study the animals. You had a chance where where the sharks turn on the scientists, and that's, they're genetically engineered sharks, right? So they turn on the scientists, and it becomes a whole adventure. You have a chance to do the exact same thing without any genetics, because the killer whale is the smartest animal in the ocean. It is highly, highly intelligent. Now imagine if that intelligence is broken by captivity and the entire their entire journey of being in captivity, and the fact that there's a possibility that their kid, their baby orca, was killed in the manner of science. So there's so many things that you could have done with this movie, and completely went just off the rails. Focus more on the subplot than the actual plot, and the identity is completely lost. Not a fan of it at all. The characters themselves underdeveloped. You really don't. I mean, honestly, you just don't care. You don't care. It's the subplot. Like I said, it takes over the movie, and it shouldn't even been part of it in the first place. The ending is absolutely horrible. It's like disrespectful to the animal itself, because of how regal they are, and how powerful and dangerous they are and graceful they are. There's no way in hell that ending happens. And then there is no solution. It's anticlimactic. There's nothing there. It just ends. And some of it is really, really freaking just downright dumb. So here's the overall takeaway. Killer Whale is a film defined by wasted potential. With a premise capable of delivering either thrills or thought-provoking commentary, it instead settles for hollow isolation drama that neither entertains or enlightens. For viewers that seek something that's more authentic, more compelling, and more respectful to the nature of the killer whale itself, I suggest that you watch 1977's Orca with Richard Harris and Charlotte Rampling, or Blackfish, which is a documentary that is based off everything that I just said regarding the emotional, psychological, and physical toll that the killer whales go through while being in captivity in places like SeaWorld and other marine amusement parks. That movie Blackfish is absolutely disturbing. It is scary, and it is brutal, and honestly, it is very eye-opening. So that is the route, honestly, if you were to get Blackfish and Deep Blue Sea and put it together, that's what this movie should have and could have been. Unfortunately, completely falls flat, and it's really horrible to me, because the killer whale is my favorite animal in the entire freaking world. So check out those other two movies. If you want some more killer whale fun, obviously you got to watch Free Willy. But there's also a movie with Shelley Winters called Tentacles that was actually pretty cool. And there's another one in development hell called Alphas, where the killer whales are going against great white sharks. That would be freaking awesome. But leave it in a comment below if you've seen Killer Whale. Please put it in the comments below and let me know what you think about it. And I will see you down the road.